Happy rainy Monday, October 12th, 2020, Christopher Columbus Day for all those who believe.
Yes. 1492, Christopher Columbus and crew landed in the Bahamas. 1609, Three Blind Mice is published. It's believed to be the earliest printed secular song. It's pretty interesting. 1809, Meriwether Lewis of Lewis and Clark fame dies under mysterious circumstances in Tennessee. 1933, Alcatraz Island becomes a maximum security federal prison. 1949, Eugenie Anderson becomes the first woman U.S. ambassador. 1971, House of Representatives passes the Equal Rights Amendment, 354 to 23. 1984, Irish Republican Army detonates a bomb at the Grand Hotel in England in an unsuccessful attempt to assassinate Margaret Thatcher. 1994, NASA loses contact with the Magellan probe spacecraft in the thick atmosphere of Venus. 1999, Pervez Musharraf seizes power in Pakistan through a bloodless coup. And that name was familiar to people who followed 9/11 because he was in charge of Pakistan back then, and he, there were a lot of questions whether he was in charge of a country that was harboring terrorists. Birthdays: 1932, Dick Gregory, who was a comedian and a social activist. 1935, Luciano Pavarotti. 1947, the guy that hosted the presidential debate, Chris Wallace. And in 1968, Hugh Jackman.
What year was he? 68?
68. And that was today's day in history and the birthdays from this day in history. Now, I did see something interesting over the weekend. And I don't usually like to quote things that I don't have the exact group that did this or whatever. But it was interesting. Apparently, there was a group of like top doctors or top scientists that had met, and their recommendation after deliberating for the weekend as to what the next step should be with COVID is to go back to life completely normal.
I heard about that too.
And to just take protective measures on your own, such as continue, hand washing regularly, more than regular. Masks if you're in certain circumstances, but not like mandatory mask wearing and, shutting of schools in any way, just back to normal. And that was a lot of doctors and scientists. And, again, I don't want to make that set in stone because I'm not exactly sure who the group was, but it was something I saw. But of course, that there is going to be the other side to that, as there always is on both sides. So I don't know, but to me, I really think that at this point, this stage of the game, people will get sick. I mean, it's the time of year when school's open, kids always get sick. You just got to roll with it, take precaution.
So now they're saying it's almost more annoying.
What, to go back to?
Well, yeah, because what was the point of what they did in the first place?
Well, that's the thing, is it, with what they did, there's always going to be that argument, though.
They violated all those constitutional laws and they're still in power.
That's always going to be the argument, is which, did they go too far with it? Did they not do enough?
If you lost someone you love to COVID.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I was angry with that guy that I was friendly with that was a teacher who initially was like, shut everything down completely, because he was getting paid. And I'm like, dude, you put yourself in other people's shoes. Consequently, I need to put myself in other people's shoes who lost somebody to COVID.
Right.
So
it's tough. It's a hard issue.
It's a tough issue. And I don't want to seem insensitive to people who did lose somebody to COVID, because it is, it's definitely, it was a real illness, and it is a real illness. And, my only issue was when you have people with a lot of different health issues and then they catch an illness, don't just it's COVID. You know, it's not always, that wasn't always the case, and I think a lot of deaths were ruled COVID that really were not, that wasn't the main culprit. But anyway, I don't want to, I'm so sick of talking about COVID.
It's going to be talked about for a long time.
It is, and it's always going to be, like I said, the argument is always going to be, did they do enough? Did they not? Did they do too much? You know, it's tough. It's tough to be, that's why the politicians they have their hands full with that one, among other things. So you had a good weekend.
Yeah, it was all right.
Well, what was what was on the menu? You
Did,
said soul food,
fried
huh?
chicken, fried shrimp, collard greens, homemade baked beans.
Now, when you do
Mac and
collard
cheese.
greens, because I told you collard greens was my
Cornbread.
favorite. They called them, the restaurant I went to, and it was the only time I ever had so-called collard greens, they called them southern greens. And I'm imagining it was almost like a spinach,
Yeah.
and it had like a little red in it, like I guess from the stem or something of the vegetable. You
Most of the
know,
time
not
that
like
red is
fire
pork.
engine red, but like a
Maybe it could be like a piece of crushed red pepper.
yeah, I don't know, but it was very, I mean, it had a smoky flavor to it that was like, oh, it was so good.
Well, that's from the smoked pork hocks.
Okay.
The feet.
So the vegetable themselves, they're like a bitter,
Just
I
bitter,
guess.
Yeah. A bitter.
How did you flavor it? Just left it.
You take chicken broth.
Okay.
And you put 2 pork hocks in the pot, and you reduce it down for a couple hours.
So you did it smoky flavored?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
And then like the pork
So good.
kind of shreds off the bones, and then at the very end, when you have just a little
Oh.
bit of the juice left, all
Yeah.
that reduction, you put your greens in, and you toss it around, and just
That was my favorite reason for going to the restaurant that had. I mean, I literally looked forward to. And vegetables is usually the last thing that I'm looking forward to at a good
believe
restaurant.
it or not, that's what everybody was going crazy for.
So
this weekend.
good. They are so good.
And my friend didn't know how much to buy because when
Yeah.
you buy greens, it's
Sure.
like a big.
Yeah, but they.
But when you boil it, it
Yeah.
becomes like a dime.
Yeah, yeah.
So you need like a bushel of.
Yes, I noticed that when I've cooked spinach, I buy like a whole container, and
And
by
it
the
goes
time you're
away
done,
real
it's like-
quick.
yeah, it gets a lot of water in it.
So we had such little. I had to literally give everyone a drop, and everyone was like, "This is
Oh,
the
I know.
greatest thing
It's the
we've
best
ever
part.
eaten."
Yes, I'm telling you, those. I can attest to that. It
We
was,
did homemade macaroni and cheese with cavatappi. The
Oh,
Checo,
is
the
that
swirly
yeah,
ones.
yeah. Oh God. So you did
White
macaroni
cheddar
and
cheese, Parmesan,
Oh, God.
and couple others.
Man,
Yeah, buttermilk deep fried chicken. Same with the shrimp. Homemade baked beans with pure maple syrup
oh my
that you
God.
cook for 6
Wow,
hours.
I'm getting hungry just listening to it.
Everybody was.
And I ate.
We were all in such a good mood after we ate that.
Oh,
it's
it's
good
delicious.
for the soul. It really is.
Delicious.
You feel it.
God.
I don't really have that too often either. So when I do, it's like a special thing.
Yeah.
Plus the homemade cornbread.
Oh,
that
that's
really takes
great.
it over the top.
That's great. That is like a 10 on the list of a type of meal. You know.
It was.
God.
Got a
Now,
pot, deep fry the chicken, no thermometer, just freestyle.
now when you do the chicken the way you did it, because I noticed like it wasn't like breadcrumbs or anything.
Well,
What is
marinating.
the crust? What is the crust like on it?
It comes out of that buttermilk.
Yeah.
So I take buttermilk and I dump like a bottle of my favorite hot sauce in
Uh-huh.
that milk, and I mix it up, throw some spices, and then you just put your chicken in there for like a day.
But it doesn't come out with like a KFC type of crust,
before
or
you go to fry it,
Yeah.
you take a seasoned flour
yeah.
and you bread it in the flour
Okay.
because that wet sticks to the dry,
Oh, God.
and then you drop it in the deep fryer.
That must be so good.
That's it.
Oh my God.
And then you finish it in the oven. Otherwise, it gets too dark. Took the chicken breast and hammered them, tenderized them
Oh
really
my
thin.
God. Good Lord. That is like.
We had not one left over.
Oh, of course.
It was
Of
cool.
course. I'm telling you, I would southern greens or collard greens when they're cooked with a smoky flavor like that. I could eat a pot of those things. They're just so good. They're delicious.
hocks.
Yeah.
Get it
so
right.
That's, yeah. Whatever.
Smoked pork hocks.
Yeah, so good. God.
Yeah, it is good. It's special.
And I've only had it at that restaurant. It's not something I've ever had or anybody's cooked for me, but it was like, gosh, hits
That's
the
the
spot.
beauty of home cooking.
Home cooking, man, having somebody who knows how to cook. I mean, it's. Now, what do you do with the baked beans?
The baked beans, you soak the beans overnight, and then you boil them the next morning until Takes about 20
So
minutes.
you're getting actually like the beans when they're
Rock
hard.
solid beans
Yeah. Okay.
in a
okay.
bag.
What are they? What color are they when you
They're
get?
white.
White.
So you boil them until you could blow on them and the skins they crack.
Oh wow. Okay.
So you blow on them. That's how you know they're ready to be put in the bean pot.
Wow.
You get a cube of salt pork
Okay.
and you kind of.
Where do you get a cube of salt
You
pork?
can get at meat farms.
Can you get it at a supermarket too? I guess that is a supermarket,
Yeah,
right?
you got
Okay.
at meat farms.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen it everywhere though.
Okay,
Meat farms
okay. Did you have to ask the guy at the counter, or did they have them out?
No, I just know where it's at. It's in this like where they keep like the bacon products, sort of.
Oh,
like
okay.
The smoked sausages. It's like up in the left corner.
Wow.
Over there.
I never seen it. So it's a cube of salt
It's
pork.
a cube. It's like a belly, and it's
Okay.
It's the belly meat.
Mm.
It could be other meats
Uh-huh.
of the pig, but commercially, it's usually the belly.
So they put the meat together. It's condensed.
No,
like-
it's a sliced slab of the
Oh,
pork
okay,
belly,
okay, okay.
and you
Mm.
cut it not all the way through,
Right.
so it's like cubes,
Yeah.
but it's still all connected.
Okay.
You put it in the bottom of the pot. You put a little chopped onion,
Uh huh.
maybe a clove of garlic,
Yeah.
maple syrup, molasses, brown sugar, and mustard powder. And then
Oh,
you
my
add your
goodness.
beans and the liquid that you boiled the beans in,
Yeah.
and you put it in the oven at 250 degrees for about 7 hours.
Yeah. So it's a process to make baked beans.
But it's perfect because while it's in the oven, you're drinking beer.
yeah, sure.
hanging out,
Sure. That's
and
great.
the last 2 or 3 hours, you just cook everything else,
Oh, it's great.
and it all comes out at the same time.
Now your buddy's a baked bean guy. He loves so for
He
him
was. He
having
is.
them homemade. It was
Yeah,
probably like a
it
different.
was a little bit mind blowing.
Now where does the maple syrup come in now? How do you do that?
You do dump it in.
Like
get a bottle of-
after it's cooked?
No,
and
it all has to reduce together.
Okay. Wow. So pure
So
maple syrup.
the beans go from being white
Yes, to
to
reddish.
being dark brown.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That meal is just like
You just don't get that.
yeah.
I mean, it's not
Um
that common up here.
and the thing with beans that I noticed too is that like they're used as like a breakfast in England. Like when you see like they'll have like a real English breakfast, they'll have beans there.
Yeah.
Now they're different though, right?
They're like tomato based,
okay,
a little
yeah.
less sweet, a little
Yeah.
more on the tangy
tangy
side.
side. Yeah,
Still good.
yeah. I like
Different.
the
I like our style better.
yeah. So do I. think
I always
it's
do
so
the
good.
New England style.
What's the difference?
Southern
Like
beans
Boston
are more
baked
like
beans, they call them. I know that.
Boston baked beans are molasses heavy,
Okay.
whereas what I do
Yeah.
is maple heavy.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the molasses is still a little molasses, but
Yeah.
you cut that amount by like half.
Mm.
So you use like a cup of maple to like 1/3 a cup of molasses.
So
You still need
everything
them
you
all-
made sounds so good that it's like my mouth.
It was
is
one
watering.
thing was better than the next,
Yeah.
and that's the amazing thing is when you could cook like 6 things,
Oh,
and
God.
each one of them
Yeah, it's great.
is-
It's a great meal.
there was no cornbread left, there was no
Yeah.
beans left, there was no mac left, there was
Nah,
no
it's a
zero
great
collard
meal.
greens within
That's
5
a great. That is like, my God.
That's all American.
Yeah, that exactly. That's nice. That's a nice
That's American
American, meal
cuisine
right
right
there.
there.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
And the beans are really a heritage dish.
Mm.
That goes back to Native Americans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Native Americans were the ones who were tapping maple trees,
Sure.
eating all the beans. You know, they were really the ones who figured all that out.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I forget that they're hard when you first get them. Like you're so used to just seeing them already.
They're
at the end.
inedible.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you don't, you know, you soak them overnight and it helps to get rid
How
of
do you
some.
think somebody figured that out in the beginning of time?
I'm not sure if when beans come out of the ground that they're hard. I think they dry them.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure though.
They're probably like, you know,
They're
like when
probably-
you see
yeah.
like the inside of a seed or something. It's probably like that type of where it's almost like a little moist.
And I use navy beans. I don't know if you ever heard of
No.
navy beans.
No.
It's just the stereotypical baked bean
Yeah.
bean.
Yeah.
You know? But I learned how to make them from
And
a
you get
gentleman.
those at the store too, right? I mean, these. Yeah. See, I've never bought like everything I
When
buy
I go to the
is
supermarket,
finished
I
product.
read between the lines of everything.
Yeah, well,
I
you
look-
get the beginning of everything. Like you'll get, like I'll get like the end product of beans. You'll get the beginning of beans.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Exactly.
interesting.
Now I learned how to make that dish on the ice.
Oh
Ice
right,
fishing
yeah,
in New
yeah,
Hampshire
yeah.
in an
yeah.
ice shack.
Yeah.
That's why it's so special to me.
Yeah.
I don't make it that much.
Yeah,
But when I do make it, it's like
That's got to
really-
be a great meal when you're on the ice fishing.
There's
and
nothing
you,
like
yeah,
it.
yeah, and you have that.
They had that, and then they had a pot of chowder.
Oh,
and the
my
guy
God.
that brought the chowder was
Yeah.
a seafood purveyor.
Oh, forget it.
So there were
Jesus.
scallops.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
God.
like the best chowder you can imagine. So you got the chowder, you got the beans, you got the ice fishing, and there's an ice bar that they
Yeah,
build out
yeah,
of snow.
Yeah,
And
that's
you just get whacked and eat. It's
yeah,
great.
yeah. Like what is?
There's
God.
nothing better than that.
God.
They live up there. We get cheated down here in New York.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, they have to contend with the weather, obviously.
They
but
don't call
like
it contending.
No,
they call
like
it enjoying it.
Yeah. Yep.
They buy all the toys and tools.
Yeah,
cans,
yeah,
tents, wood
yeah, sure.
stoves,
Yeah.
snowmobiles. There's no contending.
Plows and everything
Yeah,
on their
yeah.
trucks, and they.
They're
yeah.
prepared.
Yeah. Yep.
And they would never trade places with me.
No, they like it.
Yeah.
But that's when you can enjoy. You master your domain almost. That's really when you can enjoy it. I was watching even this tape of people who were in. It was like negative 46 degrees Celsius, and which I didn't know it was that close, but it was negative 51 Fahrenheit, which is odd because I thought there was a different gap. Maybe it has something to do with the negative numbers, but there were people in
That's weird.
Siberia.
Usually it's like 130
Yeah,
degree
yeah.
difference.
But it said like negative 46 degrees Celsius, negative, so I don't know if it's quite right. But anyway, it was they had a sign, like an electronic sign, and it was saying negative 46 degrees Celsius, and it was Siberia.
Wow.
And people were just walking around, cars were rolling in the streets, and it was like normal life was going on, and it's just,
I watched this show on Netflix
people
called
mastering their
Frontier.
domain. Yeah,
You ever see it?
I've heard of it.
It's
I've
pretty
heard-
good.
Yeah.
It's about like the Hudson's Bay Company
Oh,
and like
okay.
all the spats that were happening
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
And, there's some funny places though, like there's Moose Fort in
Yeah,
Canada.
yes.
Like they have all these strange names.
There's Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, where a
Yep.
lot of hockey players. It's a hockey town. Yeah. That's real. That's another area that you have to, what I was watching was Siberia, which is when you talk about cold places. I mean, it
But
doesn't-
Northern Canada.
Northern
is the
Canada
same
is
deal.
right there. It's just a little bit,
It's just
a
to the
little
west.
west. Yeah. Yeah. But
It's
it's,
the same deal.
it's freezing.
I mean, Northern Canada is glacial.
Yes, yes. That's the interesting thing with Canada is that even though you have this huge country,
They all live at the
everybody's
border.
down south, you know?
They're Southern Canadians.
Yeah,
Up north, it's Cree.
Eskimos.
It's Cree Indians.
yeah, yep. Inuits.
Yep. The seal eaters.
Beautiful up there, though. I
It's
mean,
different.
I love looking at the pictures where they just have like endless terrain of white. There's just nothing incredible. The Earth. I mean, there's so many places on Earth that are just they're staggering when you look at them.
England saw a gold mine in Canada in the early 1700s
Yep.
with the fur trade.
Sure. Yep. Fur
Really,
trappers and stuff.
that show like opened my mind to like the HBC and all that, the Hudson's Bay Company, and I don't know. That was like Microsoft at the time.
Well, there's always been industrious people who've come along and seen, they look at a place and they
Except the people were called lords.
yes, but they look at the place and they see how can I get money from this place,
Yep.
and it's
And they did it through fur.
yeah, it's
Crazy.
spur, just like people up in the Northwest, timber, a lot of wood.
Yeah. Up in the Northeast too.
Yeah,
It's a
Northeast.
huge industry up there.
Amazon. It's just people see untapped areas and there's capital there. They just have to figure out how to.
The English troops, though, that they would station up
Yeah.
there were different breed than the ones that were fighting down
Oh
here.
yeah,
They had
Yeah.
like special forces.
Yes.
It's pretty crazy.
It's just amazing how this little island, dominated the world for a while. It's incredible.
Oh, look at them now.
I know.
That's their fault.
Yeah. It is, but it's still interesting nonetheless.
They're still incredibly powerful.
Sure.
I think a lot of people actually don't give them enough credit for how powerful they are.
Yeah. It's a different world now. Back then.
They deal with Russia like directly
Yeah.
to this day.
Yeah.
They don't play games with
No.
Russia, none of that.
Just an interesting country to me. I've always.
It's like the size of Michigan.
I know. I've always found England to be just, it's just an inch. I have I like the music. I like the the culture. I like the
I like just south is France.
yeah.
Across
Yeah.
the channel.
Yeah.
Must be cool though to like live on that like northwest part of France and then the southeast
Sure.
of England.
Yeah,
It's like
cool.
living in Connecticut,
Connecticut
or
and
New
Long
York.
Island.
Yeah.
It's different, but it's just amazing to me that there's a complete different culture and language
Right.
that close.
It's strange.
Well, look at the bottom of Spain and Africa. It's
Right.
like
They actually have a lot in common.
yeah. Well, there's a
There's
lot
of
people.
cross,
Yes, yes. The cultures.
cross-germination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
that's always fascinated me how close it really was. It's but
yeah, southern Spain is
yeah.
gorgeous.
Yeah, it's the world is. I tell you, there's certain places in the world that I would love to visit, and that's one of them. It's just
You ever gonna do it? You gotta
We'll
get
see.
out there.
It's also I got to have the money to travel to those places, though. As time goes on, we'll
That
see
is
where I'm at
true.
in a few years.
That is true. Yeah,
But-
nobody's got any money anymore. The whole world is broke.
Everybody's living on their savings. That's that's the way.
Me and my buddies were we were sitting. It was like 3 a.m. We were sitting in the dirt field looking at
Yeah.
the moon this weekend. We're saying how funny it was when Andrew Cuomo said in the very beginning, "We're broke. New
Yeah.
York is broke."
Yeah.
How? How is New York broke? That's my question.
In
That
the
would be my
beginning,
question.
what do you
for-
mean in the beginning
in
of
the beginning of
COVID? Or
COVID.
yeah, yeah.
My question would have been, how would New York be broke? Where's all that money go for everything?
That's a
Me
lot.
and my
of-
friends were pretty pissed
lot of
about that. When
programs.
you really break it down, everything that you get taxed on, the reoccurring property tax, the income tax, the
Right.
tax on tolls, the tax on roads, bridges, the fucking $50 it takes to go to the city on a train.
I know.
Like,
I know.
you name it. I mean, when you think of the volume prior to COVID of how much money was getting
Think about
thrown,
what a pack of cigarettes
a pack
costs
of
in New
cigarettes
York,
got 1,000% tax.
Yeah,
Like,
sure. Yep.
so it's to be broke really blows my marbles. And you know Cuomo's the highest paid governor in America?
Yep.
Shitbag.
Yep. He's certainly not my.
He
on
gives
my
Italians
list.
a bad name.
Yes, he does.
And you know it's funny, I was in the shower, sometimes you get these thoughts. You ever get like a good thought in the shower?
Yeah.
It's just one of those places, like
Yeah.
things come to you. And I'm like, the same upheaval that is happening here, I think we touched on this last week too, is like Italy has their people who are against these lockdown measures. France, Spain,
Right.
Germany, Sweden, Norway,
Yeah.
Finland, Denmark.
Uh-huh.
All these countries have the anti-shutdown movement like
Right.
we have.
Sure.
So I'd say to Andrew Cuomo is, are you smarter than the world?
Mm. Well,
I don't know. Like it made
what do
so
you
much
mean?
sense to me.
Yeah.
Like in other words, the whole world is starting to
Oh.
see that this is shit.
Yeah.
And you're gonna keep going with the lockdowns?
Yeah. It's.
You're smarter than the people of Italy. You're smarter than the people of Germany. You're smarter than the people. That's
well,
what it seems
Are
like.
are there governments in those countries behind the movements, or like is it?
It's the same thing as here.
Yeah. So I mean,
It's actually unbelievable when you follow what's going on.
I'm just wondering if those governments are like looking to shut down again. Like are they as
I think they have
rigorous as he is with the shutdowns?
I
New
think
York
they're
is
worse.
densely populated. That's the problem too. It's like he's but they're targeting people while leaving other people exempt from the shutdowns, which
Right.
is very odd.
Right.
You're targeting Hasidic Jews, but yet you have Spanish areas where supposedly the rates of COVID are higher. So
Well, COVID attacks brown people
I
harder. It's just like I want to gag when I hear that shit.
I don't know.
I don't feel bad for saying. Like I feel bad about like if you lost someone from COVID, but I don't feel bad in saying like. I remember the early days of lockdown. I was trying to find a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
It took me like 2 hours of driving around. I get to this liquor store out in Mastic.
Yes.
There was no concern
Yeah. Right.
for anything
No,
over
no.
there. That's why they
Right.
have higher
Yeah.
rates.
Of course. Of course.
I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Savage was calling him a bastard mayor. He goes, the
Cuomo?
bastard, the bastard governor. You're a bastard. He kept calling him a big. He goes, "Am I
Being
allowed
a
to say
governor
that?
is no joke.
Am I allowed to say that on?" He goes, "You bastard." He kept
Yeah.
calling him a bastard like
Yeah.
that.
He is a bastard. Look what he did to.
It was funny to hear him say, "Bastard governor" over
He
there.
got
in New York.
elected in 2011.
Yeah, I know. I know. Look, there's still people that
Love him.
hail him as
King Cuomo.
Yeah, I mean, there are just look. There's half the people in this country feel one way, and half.
That's
feel
why they
the other.
canceled the debate.
It's
like,
just-
fuck it.
yeah,
Everybody
I mean-
knows who they're gonna go
Yeah,
for, so
I
it's
mean-
done. I'm pissed. Though,
I
'cause
look
was
at
looking forward
God,
to it.
Yeah, I look at how people the next day I watch something and I'm convinced one way.
Right, yeah.
Like wow, that was a walk off. You know, it was easy.
Yeah.
And then I see people who see it the complete opposite.
Well, that's the fake news that
And
they're
it-
always talking about.
No, not even the, but like people like on social, like people you know, like in your, you know.
Well, that's because they don't want to admit that their side
Ugh.
sucks.
I just like, how am I watching the same freaking program that you are? And you know, but to them,
They don't want to see.
I
anything
think I'm
else.
smarter than everybody because I see it one. You know, I always it is it's just people are different. They're gonna think different, and nothing is gonna change. You know, if they watched, you know, look, if you could even vote for, to me, if you could even vote Democrat at this point,
There's
after
something going on with you.
Yeah, and I'm never, you know, look, there's nothing I'm gonna come online and say, or anybody is for that matter. Any Republican talk shows, any, you know, politicians, they're never going to change their mind. You know, the only thing that can change their mind is if, I mean, it's
Nancy
ingrained.
Pelosi's
It's
really
ingrained.
starting to sound like she's got marbles in her mouth.
Yeah. Well,
I think it's all the pills she takes. Yeah.
Drinking a little
A
bit.
little sip of martinis.
Yeah. Yeah. Little
That's
nip.
what pisses me off
Morning
more than
nip.
anything. I always say this is the way these fucking people live.
Yeah.
They don't deserve that.
She's a wealthy woman. You know, a lot of them are. A lot of them are wealthy. That's the way it goes. You know, they're her.
The way judges, you
husband-
know, like when they say a judge has a 3 martini lunch.
Yeah, right. I know.
That's not good.
No, I know. I know.
That's like a
I know.
stereotype because it's what happens.
Of course it does.
So they come back.
Not, you know, of course, we don't mean every single one.
I know, but people are
yeah.
smart enough to know what we
Yeah,
mean.
but there are
But
a
what
lot
I'm
of
saying is they
stereotypes.
come back, they have a little buzz going. You don't
Sure.
know. Who are you to question the judge?
Yeah,
God, there's a lot of problems with the legal system, man.
there is. That's why I liked Judge Judy, because when she did her show, it was like she just had no room for any sort of.
She wanted the facts.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
That was it.
yeah. You know, and she didn't look like somebody that was drinking, or you know, she just looked like, you know, straight up. I respect that woman.
Now we face the dilemma of packing the courts.
Yeah, I know. I
You
know.
That's a big one.
Yep. That's always on their agenda. If we get
This country's something else. You got to admit, it really is a wild place.
Oh, especially the branches of the government. It's like, you know, all hell
It's
breaks
a
loose.
circus.
It is. It is. I don't know. I mean, it's all, you know. I listened to Biden years ago, and he was always in favor of rushing these people through when the Dems were in office. If they had to pick a Supreme Court
course he
justice,
was.
get them through. No, it's, you know, it's our right to get them through, and then it's just like this opposite speak that they do, where they completely change their views, and it's, you know, even on fracking, like Kamala Harris completely flip flops on it, and
And everyone's like, you.
yeah. I mean,
I know.
it's
I know.
the
It's
double
just
talk
like,
is what gets me. That's what gets me.
Just like the debate when he's like, you know, are you going to accept the election, whatever. He's like, well, you guys haven't accepted the 2016 election. yet."
Right, yeah. They, you know, he has to always, you know, fall in line, and you know,
He doesn't, though.
I even listened to. Here's another example. They captured these people, or they foiled a plot to kidnap somebody.
Yeah, the mayor.
Okay.
The governor of
Right.
Michigan.
And so, okay, there's this big fucking doofus that's always on. If I don't know why I'm even friends with this idiot on social media, but whatever. Somebody I used to know, and he's, you know, if this doesn't teach you to vote Democrat at this point. First of all, apparently the people that they captured were anarchists that were not even Republican. You know, so
I don't know the facts.
I don't either, but
not gonna
I
speculate.
was listening to several different, places, and in all the cases, they kept saying the people that were turning weren't in favor of Trump. They just had their own.
They're the free state
So,
people.
you
Hey,
know,
look, honestly, I know those militias are out there.
Of course.
In fact, I know a few people who are a
Yeah.
part. And to any leftist who's listening to this, wait until they come out to play,
yeah,
because they're there, and when they get you, they're going to put you on a tribunal,
yeah,
and they're
yeah.
going to execute you. That's what they were going to do to the governor.
Yep, they are out there.
I hate to say it that way, but right now, that little nook of this country is just
Yeah.
laying low, practicing. It's going to be very bad for the Antifa people when those people come out.
They'll never go there. They never will.
No, but the militias will go there.
Yeah, well, that's what they're. That's the problem. If they go there, then it's and of course,
There's
the press
nothing that they're
will,
gonna. The press can do
yeah.
whatever. At that point,
well, if
the gloves are off.
If they come out, that means that the country is in a complete civil war by that point, or if they're close
It's
to it.
starting to happen.
Yeah.
Have you seen how many people have been killed in the past week because of supporting Trump?
Yeah, I know.
You're talking about people getting shot in the street.
Yeah. No, I know. It's insane. That's the thing now. It's like, look, these things have always been going on. There's always been, supporters getting, like there's always this myth that, and I'm not saying that you're saying it, but people always, the past was things were always greasy with humans. They always were.
tumultuous.
But this widespread political nonsense now that's going on was never that bad. I mean, it's just.
I saw a couple of videos this week of people just getting shot point blank on
Yeah.
Instagram.
I can't watch Saturday Night Live anymore.
I haven't watched that shit for years.
What's that doofus on there? That tall Pete Davidson, that skinny
The
guy?
moron that was in your movie,
Which movie?
The Dirt.
The Dirt.
He was like the manager.
Well, I don't
He
know
played
what
their
movie-
manager who Vince Neil was banging his girlfriend.
Oh, the Motley Crue movie, The Dirt. Yes. He, like in the middle of the newscast, they do their weekend update. And he's like, vote Biden, like afterwards, like on his own, like vote Biden. It's like, dude, shut up, man. You fucking actor on TV. Shut them. Nobody gives a fuck who you vote for, you stupid shit. Drives me
I
up the
gotta
wall,
be
man.
honest, there's a part of me
Yeah.
that kind of wants
Yeah.
something like.
Yeah,
I
well,
know it's no good, but
yeah.
we got to take control of this place one way or the other.
Yeah.
And
But,
if Trump wins, what do you think?
I think it's just interesting if Trump wins. Like, I find they want Trump, to look. I think if the vote is fair, and a regular vote, whoever wins, and the other guy peacefully step aside. But I just feel like, look, if Trump wins fair and square, these idiots aren't gonna not go in the streets and start, protesting and it's like this. They want things that they won't
Trump
do.
is starting to build that for himself, though.
What? Build what?
A little bit of a street posse.
Oh yeah,
He didn't have it the first election.
Because
I'll tell
of
you
because of the voting, this one with the write-ins and everything, he knows.
I'm not
what's
against
gonna
what he's
happen.
doing. He's got to do what he's got to do.
I mean, it's obvious what they're doing. They're going to use. The polls keep coming out. Biden's ahead. Bullshit.
Well, that's what they did in
Yeah.
2016. But
There's
then there's
no
other
way.
polls that say the total opposite.
I know.
So
the
it's
polls.
really,
It's like I don't go by the polls.
How
but-
many people taking polls? Have you ever taken a poll?
No, never.
Me neither.
Never. But I think whenever a guy on the left wins, whenever a guy like when Obama won, people were constantly, just I hope he dies, like even the guy on watching Saturday Night Live, like, like the joke was, hopefully Trump gets sick, and it's like that's the president of your country. You can joke about him, even in the 70s they used to make fun of Nixon. It's all good, but like you don't wish death on your president. It's at the point where it just gets. It's just poor taste, It's
Well, Lorne Michaels is a Canadian.
Oh, I know,
scum,
I know.
So that's what you get.
Yep.
Saturday Night Live was always a crock of shit
It
politically.
is. It is always, because it's his views.
And anybody who was a little bit different got booted.
Yeah. Yes, Noah McDonald was
Yeah.
one of them. Yep, you're right. And
Colin Quinn.
yeah,
I think he was on there
he was
for
on
a brief
there.
period of
Yeah,
time.
he did the news too. But anybody that didn't follow, like you watch these, they're all like little lapdogs now. Like Pete Davidson, it's like
Pete Davidson,
he
if I
drives me
seen him in
nuts.
the
Yeah.
street, I would fucking beat the shit out of that guy. I can't help it. I hate
Yeah.
his face. I hate everything about him.
He drives me nuts. That guy
I'd knock his 2 front teeth
Yeah.
right out.
having to.
Pander. Pander. He's like a little monkey.
Yeah, yeah. But I just watch him on there.
He does
and he's-
tricks. He hits
yeah.
the cymbals,
He's,
and he gets a round of applause. That's all I see. It's all
Yeah.
bullshit.
But his,
I can't wait for the election. I just need it to
vote
be over.
Biden. It's like just do your fucking shit, and like it's a comedy show. I don't want to see everybody's. I don't want to hear everybody's politics when I'm watching a comedy show. It's like you're watching that show to laugh. I don't care if you joke about the president. I don't want to hear who you personally want. Shut up.
I don't know.
Drives me up a wall.
It does. I'm a little bit disappointed that you're back into sports after the
No, I'm not watching. I didn't watch the NBA.
Okay.
I will never support that league. As long as that guy is commissioner, Silver, I'll never support that league.
Yeah.
I won't go pay money to go see it. I won't.
I won't even look at a basketball.
Yeah, I just don't.
Football, I can't do because
Yeah.
I know how they are. And you know what? That Colin Kaepernick, it's just a product of that.
Hockey, even though look, even they were dabbling a little bit. I mean, it's the only commissioner I like in any sport is Dana White. To be
Yeah,
honest
he's
with
the
you,
best.
it's the only guy. He just doesn't give a shit. He wants to do his sport.
Right.
Politics, I don't care.
I mean, he
at
did
both
go
sides.
on the RNC though.
What?
I
I
mean,
know.
You know.
I know, but he doesn't bring it into the sport though.
No.
He lets if one guy says something, then you better let the other guy say it also.
Did you
and he
see
does.
Johnny Rotten from the Sex Pistols came out in support of Donald Trump?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he got
Well, I
the-
figured he would. I mean, he's
Well, you know what the
Yeah.
thing is that if you support Trump, that's actually the anti-establishment.
yeah, right.
It's crazy.
yeah. It's the
It's
total.
so
yeah.
bizarre.
Up is down,
even
down
though
is up.
Even though he's law and order,
Yeah.
it's like the left is the
Right,
establishment.
Right. Up is down and down is up now.
He's the punk rock president. It's hard to
Yeah.
wrap your head around,
Yeah.
but it's true.
Yeah. Well, because anybody with half a brain can. It's just crazy how many people. I can't. I'm so tired of it. I can't even.
They've got us by the balls. The political system, the propaganda.
Oh,
all
sure.
Every single
what runs the
person. I've
country.
yet to meet someone
Yeah.
in the past year
Yeah.
who's not grabbed by the balls by the system. Every single person
Yeah.
I talk to,
In what way? Give me like a.
just like me and you were talking, we have an anger.
Oh.
Everyone
you mean
has an
twisted
anger.
up by. Yeah,
Just
yeah.
Everyone has a point of view that's like,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
all sour, whether it's
Yeah.
on the left or on the right.
Well, that's what the media breeds that.
Yep.
Politicians breed it. It's divide and conquer. I mean, that's what they do. And it's much easier to conquer people when they're not united.
There was this girl at the farm this weekend, and she was like, well, Trump has a way of just pissing people off.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I think the media has a way of just
Right.
pissing people off.
Right.
And then this other kid looks at me and goes, you're right.
Yeah.
Everything is just...
Yeah.
I tell you,
it's-
everyone in this country is dumb. Stupid, softened up by all the toys,
Yeah.
spoiled, fat McDonald's eating scummy people. I hate to say it. I'm sick of this place.
Yeah.
I really am.
I don't think it's not everybody.
The majority of them, then you go to Trump country in the middle and everyone's fat.
Yeah.
It goes from bad to worse.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm sorry, but that's really
Yeah.
if you want to know how I really feel, this country's falling apart.
Yeah. Where would you move?
France.
France. There's people that would look at France and say, "Oh my God,"
Yeah, but I would go to the French countryside. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be in Paris.
Yeah.
There's a few places I'd go. I could tell you.
Yeah.
I'd go to anywhere in Western Europe, just about.
Yeah.
I would go to Canada. I know Canada has some problems, but I love Canada. I'd
Yeah.
go to Quebec in a heartbeat.
Mm.
Argentina.
That's nice.
Yeah,
Argentina's
there's
nice.
quite a few places out there. I mean, a lot of people
Yeah.
say America's the best country on earth. Well,
Yeah.
where have you been?
Yeah.
How do you know? You just say that. I love this country. I'll never renounce my citizenship.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm going to live here for the rest of my life. But if it keeps going on like this,
Yeah.
How much of my mental health and your mental health and your kids' mental
you
health?
have to just I know. I just try
It's
to.
like they demand it out of us. It's getting worse and worse through social media.
But you know what happens? If you and your friends are I never sat with friends and ever talked politics.
We don't talk politics.
Okay.
We all feel the same way.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. But like that was something that I always like.
There's like one person who was saying that about Trump.
Yeah.
But
that's good because it's not good for you. It's not good for your mental health to constantly. That's why even like once I see any of the like if I have to check on Facebook something and I start to see like political posts, I just like because I was when I had to do that thing in Smithtown, I was getting a little more involved. But now it's like okay, did my thing, and I use this. We talk about it on here. But other than that, I never discuss it because it's a quick way to just dislike somebody if their view is very different than yours. Even if, you like them as a person, it's like, but that is like... So I don't want to know what your politics
There's no
are.
such thing as meeting a new person in this day and age.
Yeah. No, I guess. Your age, it's
we're
probably
really
different.
hyper in it because, like...
Well, yes. The young people today, I think, are way more into it than...
There's no private... back in the day, you could do a little bit of this, do a little bit of that. Nobody gave a shit. Everybody was just peaceful. There was no hyper up to the second information. Trump takes a turd, and I get a tweet about it.
That's the problem. It's the constant
And even
flow.
Trump does it.
It's the constant flow of information. There was a kid when I was in college. I mean, this stuff has been... he was a... hardcore, like this was after Reagan was in president because I was in college, but he was like I'll never forget this guy Ralph raises anything that the teacher said, he's like, yeah, but Reagan, and he was like a real Reagan, and all the other kids were like, they would like laugh at him like he was like crazy,
right? That's the game they play,
right? And so this was in colleges even back then, this was 20 years ago, and they're still like they were all looking at each other like, oh, he's a weirdo, And he was actually, he was an intelligent guy, just having like cross dialogue. So it's been going on, but it's this constant flow of information that they have now. It's no good.
There's a lot of things that you're going to see, and you're still a young man, so you're going to see it in 20 years.
Yeah.
You're going to see the repercussions of what COVID did to little children, kindergarten, first, second graders.
Hopefully.
With their social constructs.
Yeah.
The rate of transgender children, that's another thing that you should look into. That is a serious problem. And all the scientists around the country and the universities are scratching their heads wondering, what is going on? Why is there these 1,000% increases?
Because, like I told you, what's common in empires right
before they crash, right? But just obscurity.
Permissiveness of everything.
Yeah.
Everything is allowed. Nothing is. The only thing that's weird is normalcy.
Right.
If you're normal, you're weird. But any other person that was on the extreme or the outside, now it's allowed. It's accepted. Look, I was I'm going to just put it this way. It was a doctor's office. I'm not going to say what kind of. But anyway, in there it said, we are everybody's welcome. We're a safe space. Like they're putting that in doctor, and they have the rainbow. It's written in rainbow. I mean, insanity. And that supersedes, like I said, on your sister's school. It says it in the school. We are, an open, safe space for children. Like, it is more important now.
Those gun-free zones, by the way.
Yeah.
Those safe spaces they talk about are the most dangerous places you could be.
Yeah, because some wacko with a gun.
Some psychopath goes in there.
They'll always get guns.
The people know.
Yeah. So, but this whole thing of the diversity and race is now, it is more important than anything. It's psychotic. It's at the level where it's psychotic for some people. It's sickening. And it's a lot of young people. I look at these kids and it's like, get a fucking life. Like, that is all they're consumed with. You look on every young kid's, like, Black Lives Matter, all the white girls, Black Lives Matter.
It's like disgusting.
It's like,
it's disgusting.
Don't you have any fucking thing else, you freak, to focus on? Really?
I was briefly on like
Oh,
that Tinder a couple
Yeah,
months
yeah.
ago.
Uh-huh.
I got rid of it. It was
Yeah.
just such a waste of
what
time.
is that? That's like
It's
a
like
hookup
you
thing?
like swipe right or swipe left.
Oh,
You know
okay.
what I mean?
Yep.
And it's like you're hot or you're not.
Okay.
And I couldn't tell you how many times. If you don't support Black Lives Matter, you're on the wrong page.
Ugh.
I was like, barf, barf, barf.
Yeah.
You get what you get when you
Yeah.
believe that shit.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I
ugh.
mean?
Ugh. Ugh.
So I was good on that. But I tell you,
Stomach turner.
you could talk all you want about France and Italy and Germany.
Yeah.
I don't see those problems over there. They don't. They don't
Well,
have these like
they've
identity crises.
France.
They know who they
France
are.
though has they have more now than they used to
Oh,
because
protest, violent. I see that too.
but it's more now. It used to not, especially. Well, France has always had an issue with Muslims. They've just always had there are certain areas there that the cops are like, oh god, because that is like their lower level
Sure.
people in the country.
Their
So,
minority.
Yeah. So there's always these issues. There was a few years back they had this. They were burning cars and stuff. And
Hey,
you know,
we got a lot of Muslims here.
yeah. No, I know,
I
but
bet
I'm-
we have more Muslims here than they have.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm saying it's they're more of a problem over there.
Well, they could
they're-
drive right into
They
France.
feel very. They feel like they're kind of I guess not given a free free equality or whatever you want to call
Sure.
it. So they are there. That's their problem. There is Muslims. Germany now is seeing it. Countries that never had these problems before are starting to see. Even Italy.
I hate
Italy
to tell
has
you,
a
though,
big
that's
problem.
a Western created
Yes,
problem.
it is. It is. But I'm saying it is now permeated into Europe. It's,
But that's their fault.
yes. Yes.
They deserve it.
Yes. But my point is you're not immune to it now. It used to be
Right.
there were England has a tremendous issue with their, and I'm not trying to say to put Muslims down. I'm just saying that's where a lot of the crimes, whenever you have certain immigrant areas or
I
certain
gotta look
lower,
into that
yeah.
though.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, I
Look it up in France.
have to.
Yeah.
I have to. 'Cause
Look it up.
I have not checked into that.
Yeah.
But I don't
Yep.
doubt it.
Yep.
I don't doubt it.
I took, like I said, I had taken French from the time I was in middle school till through college. I had to take it at college, and
So
it
you
was
learned a lot about the
yeah,
cultural
yeah,
issues and stuff.
yeah.
Sure.
Yep. And that was always one of the teachers I had in college said that's been an issue. And then I was a history teacher, so I would read while I was teaching. I was much more up on that, and I read about. Article after article. It's just and it was all over the news. Like
But Europe has
10 years ago.
been dealing with that for thousands of years.
Yes, they have, but
So
there were certain countries though that didn't allow. France had a much more lenient immigration policy.
yeah,
Germany was much tougher.
sure.
Italy was tougher. Italy now is having issues with Nigerians because they have a real organized crime syndicate over there. So it's like
And Italy's government can't handle shit.
Right.
So once that gets out of control, they're
right.
fucked.
So my point is like there were certain countries that have always been very like homogeneous countries.
Yeah.
Now, even parts of Scandinavia now you're starting to see it. Anywhere that these countries allow other groups into.
Hey, it's
You
really
know?
funny to me how the left are the war hawks now.
Yeah, I know.
Donald Trump brings peace to the Middle East, not good enough.
I know.
Withdraws troops, they're not happy.
I know. It's always
I can't figure that out.
It's always like I said.
Donald Trump did a great job, though,
opposite.
of attracting liberals to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of leftists
Mhm.
who have actually joined him. That's
Yeah.
why I like following this Tim Pool guy, because he was traditionally like a leftist.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but he's going to be voting for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And I like to see his perspective because it makes me feel a little
Sure.
bit better. Because
Sure.
Donald Trump isn't a staunch conservative.
Yeah, the guys
Mike
that are
Pence
like
is.
crazy, the guys that are like overboard with this, like, they wear like flag pants, it's like enough,
American
like
people,
it's too,
you mean?
yeah,
Like,
like
yeah.
I don't like too far to the right either. I don't like it. I just think it's too much of anything. It's not good,
I get a little worked up when religion gets a little too involved.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I am Catholic.
Yeah,
I'm not really like a practicing
Right.
Catholic.
Right.
That's, I guess, normal Catholicism. You don't really practice it.
it's
and
like
you're still-
Christianity,
Right.
basically, Yeah.
Well, I would dare to say Christianity, they practice a little more
Yeah.
than Catholics.
Mhm.
I don't really know. I was never. But you know, if all of a sudden, like, my thing is with the separation of the church and state is, let's say we had this influx of Muslim people come here,
Right.
and all of a sudden they became the majority,
Mm-hmm.
or not all of a sudden, but over the course of 100 years, let's say.
Yeah.
That would mean that they would have their religion
Yeah.
taking over our classrooms, our, you know, like,
Yeah.
that's why that we shouldn't mix the two. You shouldn't mix religion with politics. So that bothers me a little bit
Yeah.
about Pence.
Yeah.
Because
He's
Pence
too.
is a very
Sure.
religious guy.
Yep.
And there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with it. I believe in religion. I believe in God. But I really think there was a reason why they separated the two.
You know, it's like I felt like they had a good balance 25, 30 years ago, because you had, like, you know, kids. I remember in elementary school around Christmas time we would make like Christmas decorations, but they also had us do menorahs.
Kwanzaa.
Yeah, you know, but like,
Who the hell celebrates Kwanzaa?
I don't know. I mean, people do, but you know, there's some people that do. I've seen, but I mean, for the 10 people that do, like, you know, I just think that once
gonna
you
come-
remove it entirely, it's like,
What they're doing to us
Yeah.
as a human society is the same process that they do to milk. They're homogenizing it.
it's true.
It's
what they're
so
trying to do.
scary
Yeah.
that we're a big, like,
Yeah.
science experiment of social constructs.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to, like you said, they're trying to make school very secular, and also, but then it goes, you know, they take it, once they go a little bit, then it becomes more, and then it becomes more. You know, why do you have, you know, I remember when they used to do, like, they did some type of Christmas song that the principal would just play, like a Christmas song in the morning when he did his morning announcements, but it wasn't like a religious Christmas song. It
Like
was
Jingle Bell
it was
Rock.
something like that.
Yeah, sure.
And there was one kid that made a big deal, and he had to do like Hanukkah songs and sing it on there, and it was like, and everybody wanted to beat him up. It was like, stop being such an asshole, you know.
See, things like that
Yeah.
really bring my spirits down a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah. It's like, you know, there's always this, you know, there's always some idiot that doesn't, you know, things just seem nicer then, as far as, it was nice to like celebrate, you know, and the colors, the green and the red. It was just a nice time of year, but
You want to
it's-
see a real pack of freaks? Go to a Starbucks.
Oh yeah. Well, that's
That is like, but
yeah.
it like 5-10 years ago, it wasn't as, let's say 10 years.
Yeah.
It wasn't as bad. Now,
before Trump got in office. It wasn't.
now
that
I
bad.
go to Starbucks and I'm like, holy
Yeah.
shit! Like,
Yeah.
you're at the drive-thru and you're looking in
Yeah.
there. It's like
It's also part
it's
of
hostile.
it's also part of getting older and realizing the next generation is like
What the hell? I got
Yeah.
a drink yesterday, and I'm looking in there and I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like,
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
Androgynous Pat?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like,
oh yeah,
it's crazy.
yeah. That's what it is. They're
That's
all-
mental illness.
That Starbucks is a safe zone for that. You know, it's
It's going to be the first place. You know what I think about those safe zones. So
Well,
bad places.
I don't wish that on. I don't want to
No,
see
I
anybody.
don't. But
get
that's
hurt,
a
you know.
fact.
I guess.
Gun-free zones
Yeah,
are the first places to be attacked.
There's a lot of gun-free zones. I mean, there's gun. You know, there's no guns in schools.
And what happens to schools?
I understand, but you can't.
They wanted to put armed guards in schools. They cried about it.
I know.
That's the only thing that you can do to negate
Yeah.
a threat.
No, I know. I'm a Second Amendment guy, so you're not telling me that. I know.
I don't
just-
believe I don't believe there's anything that exists that's
Yeah.
a safe zone.
No, there are no safe
It's
zones in
fake.
the world.
And when I see that, when I see people like you're saying,
They're
this
not
is
saying you're-
diversity, this is a
Yeah.
safe zone. No, there's not. There's no safety. It's an illusion.
Well, they make it like that for people's, you know,
For brainwashing, for conditioning.
Yeah. They're saying like if you come in and you're a total freakoid, you're okay. We accept you, which is, you know, whatever. I don't care. Honestly, that shit doesn't bother me. You be people should be who they want to be, but I just don't like when it's shoved down my throat by some organization telling me I have to. You know,
Well, I thought it was insane when I'm gonna just go take it back to the Starbucks because they're just
Yeah.
a prime example.
yeah.
When I was like, I worked there like 10 years ago, and one of the things they were doing at the time was trying to get their employees to engage in conversations about gun violence with customers.
Oh God, not really?
So they're paying you minimum wage,
and they were asking,
and then they ask
do
you
that?
to get into a deep. You know how intense that gets.
So you go through the drive-through and they say,
or in
"Wait,"
the lobby, you know,
it's
are they out of their fucking minds?
yeah. Well, look. All
They're
these,
out of their minds.
When I was teaching, they used to say, the principal said, "I need you, young teachers, go out in the community and try to recruit minority teachers." It's like, bro,
Sure.
I got fucking 5 kids that are white.
Right.
I want them to have an equal shot. I don't want them to have more of a chance. Equal.
Yep.
You know, fuck off with all that.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I'm getting sick of this shit.
Yeah.
I really am.
Yeah. Like I said, you just believe.
A lot of people talking Civil War talk now,
Well,
though, and it's
yeah,
pretty
it's-
funny to me.
Wouldn't be funny if it happened. You don't want that to happen.
It would be funny, actually, though, because that one side ain't got shit. They're
No.
the side of no guns. They don't even know how to hold a damn gun. Who's got the guns?
Well, it depends who. It depends who's talking Civil War. There's people on the left that definitely, there's Black Lives Matter and Antifa groups that
the guys
do
that
have
hold
weapons.
guns sideways? They
No,
don't
I know.
shit.
I'm not saying that they'll have a chance. I'm just saying though that they are armed, but I think
It's not going to go good
Yeah.
for them,
no,
unquestionably.
no.
So, anyway, with that politically charged Monday, Columbus Day, we're going to drop it off there, and we'll be back again
Happy
tomorrow.
Columbus Day, everybody.
Yes, God bless Christopher Columbus for all the Italians out there. Everybody have a great day. Take care. Peace and love.